Mr. Mkonda, are you there? Mr. Mkonda, are you there? Hello, Mr. Mkonda, are you there?
40 minutes. I'll need to rush. So if you are able to stop me, please, you can just raise your hand and then I'll quickly stop to go back and address what need to be addressed. But otherwise,
everyone, can you put your sound at maximum so that you can get clearly? Otherwise, me, I'm getting him clearly, and others I'm confirmed, but there are still some that are not getting him. So if you are the only ones, then your phone has a problem. Can you increase the volume? Okay, Robert, continue.
Clearly.
Okay, all right. So just a quick introduction about myself. My full name's Kanyembo Robert. I'm aquaculture manager for Novatek, animal feeds, and obviously specialized in aquaculture, fisheries, then with a MSc in planning, project planning and management. I think today we were looking at two important aspects of our fish farming. Firstly, we are going to look at fish nutrition. And then in our second session, we'll look at water quality parameters, which are the key aspects in fish farming. We are together on that? Okay, so the contents will run as follows. Firstly, we're going to look at nutrition as the first part. So we'll look at what is nutrition, the importance of nutrition in fish farming, when to feed, how to feed, and how much to feed. These are very, very important key aspects for us to understand and for us not to get into losses or for us not to deteriorate the water quality that we're going to look at later on. Because as you understand, 70%, 50 to 70% of our aquaculture operation are basically on feed. Therefore, it's very important for you to understand what this component must be handled and how you must handle it. So, as I continue, we're going to look at, I said, so on water quality in our second session.
Mr. Kanyembo.
Yes, sir.
Your screen is not showing the whole content.
Well, Mr. Kanyembo, do you put on slideshow?
Oh, okay. Is it clear? We are okay?
Better.
Perfect.
Okay. As I said, the content will run as follows. So fish nutrition, we'll look at what is nutrition, importance of nutrition in fish farming, when to feed, how much to feed, and let's say how to feed. And then on our second session, which is water quality, we'll look at what is the important parameter to take note in fish farming. E.g., we'll look at oxygen, temperature, pH, ammonia, and salinity. These are very, very important aspects that we need to know for us to get healthy stock and also to achieve our growth within the period. So if you say you are looking at nutrition, so nutrition actually is just a science that interprets the nutrients and other substances in food in relation to maintenance, growth, reproduction, health, disease of an organism. It also includes ingestion, absorption, assimilation, biosynthesis, catabolism, and excretion. Okay. Maybe in simpler terms, we can say nutrition is, in other terms, we're looking at nutrition is just the process of obtaining or providing foods necessary for good growth and health. Because here, what is important for us to know is that for you to achieve the period within which you are supposed to grow your fish, here you need to know important things. Before you even venture into fish farming, I'm sure Mr. Mkonda had mentioned is that you need to know what is the target weight of your fish at harvest. The period that you need to work with is 6 months, but it depends also with what your market is saying. For example, if you look at the market in other countries, they are growing fish to 1 kg. What are you supposed to do in order to achieve the growth in 6 months or in whatever period to get to 1 kg? In our setup, usually the target weight is about 350 grams. So it is very important for you to know that in 350, within 6 months, you need to grow to 350 grams. But now what are you supposed to do? Nutrition comes to play a very important factor in that. If you take, for example, your fish, you have 2 ponds. 1 pond you are feeding, 1 pond you are not. You'll find that the pond that you are not feeding, the fish will not grow as fast as the other one. You know, fish farming is a business, and therefore it requires that the time factor is well taken good note of. And for you to beat the time factor, you need to understand that nutrition is your partner. Are we together? Nutrition is your partner. And when we mean nutrition is your partner, it means that you need to feed your fish well. This is why we are saying, why is it important then? Because it provides the organism the required raw materials for good growth and then provide resistance to disease. Because in nutrition, for example, vitamins play an important role in the defense mechanism of the fish, of the organism. Because vitamins will either help with the blood flow or help with the aspects to do with defense mechanisms in which the body will protect itself against disease. Immunobalance is another factor that will come from nutrition. So nutrition plays a part in keeping you healthy. Other foods that we eat will help you grow better, will help boost your immunity. And all these factors come as a result of understanding the science of nutrition. So if you don't feed well, if you don't feed your fish well, that's why you'll be seeing aspects to do with disease, stress, stunted growth, all those factors. If they outplay you, the end result will be that your fish will not grow well. And then if this is a business, most definitely, what will happen is that you will not achieve your target growth weight within the growth period of 6 months. That's why we are saying it's very important for you, one, as an organism, two, the organism you are keeping, which is the fish, that it is kept and nurtured on good nutrition. Good nutrition in this case, we mean feed. Manufactured feed is well balanced diet for the fish, so that one, it gives us the growth. Two, it enables the fish or organism have immunity against disease. Now, if I just run you fast in the
Mr. Robert, can we be asking as you are presenting, or we wait until you are done?
Anyway, it's a two-way thing. If you can ask, it is even much better. I can explain. But
okay, let me ask then.
Yes.
From your experience, how common is it to raise fish above 350 after 6 months? Or I'm looking at, you said in other countries they raise maybe up to 1 kg, and then their market there for 1 kg is available. But in Zambia's perspective, is it easy to raise fish above 350 grams, maybe after 6 months?
Yes, it is very much possible to raise fish actually above even 350 grams. The important parameters or factors that surround that will be: 1, good seed; 2, good feed; 3, good management. These factors have to play together for you to achieve that purpose. It's not a one-sided thing. It's not just you have a good feed, then definitely you're going to have results within the said period. But one other thing that you need to know is that your seed, your fingerlings, is also another factor. And also, the one that plays even a more pivotal role will be your management on your farm. Because if your management is poor, then it outplays the good feed and good seed altogether. We can give you a good seed and a good feed, but if you yourself, you don't manage well, your water quality or your pond management or your farm management is poor, definitely you're not going to achieve that. So all these factors have to play for you to achieve that.
So
Is
for a
there another
starter,
question?
what would you advise? Like, what goal should I have to raise my fish up to? Maybe should I put 250 or 300 grams when I'm starting, so that I don't get disappointed in an event that I don't reach that? Because I've seen a number of things can discourage you in this business if you're not careful.
Oh, all right. Now, that's where, if you heard me right from the beginning, I said each person, each farmer, before you start, you need to ensure that you know your target weight. The target weight for Mr. Karuba, the target weight for Mr. Guava will be different depending on where they are. For example, if people on the copper belts, because they are more closer to the Congo, you find that their target weight is about 250, 300. But for scenarios on the southern side of the country, you find that they require fish which is at least 350 grams for you even to fetch a good market price. So all those things will differ from region to region or from market to market. It's not going to be a standard one. But what we encourage the Zambians is that at least your fish has to be about 350 grams for you to achieve a good market price, or maybe to have a good penetration throughout the country. So 350 grams is the better, a better size. Are we together there?
Thank you so much.
You are most welcome.
Maybe to just support you, Mr. Robert, I've seen one friend of mine who managed to achieve 400 grams at 6 months using your feed. So I think it's something which is possible. I've seen it happening somewhere.
Hello,
Okay.
Mr. Robert.
Yes, sir.
I think we encourage everybody to write the questions down, and then after the end of this presentation on feed, they can ask the question. We'll give some few minutes to discuss the questions that they have. Then we'll proceed so that the presentation goes on smoothly.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mkonda.
And shall we should do join quickly once this one cuts, then we join in quickly. All right.
Are we together? Okay. So the next thing, as I was trying to explain, is the nutrition aspect. So at Novatek, we have got different types of fish feeds. All these have been selected with new ingredients which are well selected for the fish for better growth, for you to achieve your growth within your 6 months. So I'm going to run you through the products that we have at Novatek, okay? We have got different types, which includes also those at the hatchery. But for the hatcheries, I'm not tackling that. I'm only tackling the outgrower. So the first product that we have at Novatek would be fish fry mash. If you see fish fry mash, so the first column is the product, second column is packaging, third is size, feed size, then we follow fish size, period, feedings per day, and also we have what is this part? The feed rate. Okay. So what is there now is that when you get your fingerlings from Mr. Mkonda at 1 or almost 2 grams, the first feed that you're going to give them would be fish fry mash. If you look at nutrition, as we are saying, the higher the protein, the better the growth that you're going to have. But there's also a new technology that has come in that I must mention, is that that is of the quality of amino acids. Sometimes with the many research that we are doing, I'm part of the aquaculture research at Novatek. So what that means is that we have come up with better research collaborating with others, which also says that when your amino acid quality is better, your protein doesn't need to be higher, but you still achieve the same intended growth as a higher protein. I'll explain those when we go to the water quality, because at the end of the day, we don't want to, we have seen that the challenges that we have had mostly with the feeds is only to do with the water quality. And water quality, sometimes feed plays a part, as I said, on the management part, which I'll explain in the next session. If I'm looking at and the time, in the next 7 minutes, it will be cutting. So I'll explain this, then we come and continue after we rejoin. So in 7 minutes, it's showing me that it's going to cut. So as I continue, I said, when you get your fingerings from Mr. Mkonda, the first feed that you're going to give them would be fish fry mash, okay? Are you able to see the pointer, my pointer here? So this is fish fry mash that you give your fish from 2 to 5 grams. And you'll be feeding them at least 8 times per day, because Mr. Mkonda is feeding the fish, those fry, 8 times a day. So we're going to adopt the same system until they're about 14 days. That's when you begin to now change to what we need you to be following. So if you go from there, you find that the next feed you'll be feeding will be fish juvenile crumble, which is the 1 millimeter, and you feed your fish from 5 to 20 grams. I don't want to dwell much on the aspect to do with the periods, because the issue of the periods will differ. They'll differ in 2 aspects. One, when the conditions are not the same as what we used when we were doing the research, then it will not hold water on your side. That's why I'm dwelling more on the average body weight. I'll come and explain the issue of average body weight when you begin to look at how much to calculate or how much feed to give your fish. That's when this will be very important. But the issue of period, like you need, when your fish is between 2 to 4 weeks, then you give them this feed. Sometimes it won't be the same because of different climatic conditions or different conditions in which the trial was done and which you'll be subjected to. So let's stick to the fish size, which is more scientific. And then you go to the juvenile crumble, which is 2 millimeters. You feed your fish from 20 grams up to when they are 50. If you follow the period, we are looking at that period of 5 to 8 weeks. But as I said, again, let's not dwell much on the period, but let's maintain on the average body weight, which works best for all of us. And on this part, if you look at fish pre-starter 40%, the 40% is the crude protein content of the feed. And you look at it, it's also 2 millimeter. And the fish that you need to feed it is when your fish is 20 grams to 50 grams. There are 2 things here. There's 20 grams also to 50 and 20 grams to 50. But this one is a crumble, the other one is a pellet. The difference there, I'll come and explain properly. I'm just trying to look at how we can sort out the time. This one I'll come and explain. And then we have the fish pre-starter 3 millimeters. This you feed your fish from 50 grams until when they are 90 or 100 grams. Most of the times, the problem we have had with Mr. Mkonda and others is that when people talk about fish starter, for them it's the first feed you give your fish, which is not the case. I want you to take note. Fish starter 38% is 4 millimeters. And you feed your fish from 90 grams to 250. But many of the times you find that You go to an outlet, you are asking for fish starter when you have just gotten the fingerlings from Mr. Mkonda, which are 1.5 to 2 grams, and then you want to give them 4 millimeters. These are the problems that have been affecting feed growth on your fish growth on your farms or with your stock. The problem is that it's not that you use Novatek. The problem is that you used a wrong Novatek feed for the wrong size of fish that you got from Mr. Mkonda. So already this mismatch will affect your target weight within that growth period. That is the main problem you have had, because chickens deal with starter as the first feed you give. But in fish, it's not the case. There's a difference between a fish starter and fish there's too much feedback. I don't know where it's coming from. There's fish starter and fish fry mash. So for fish, the first thing you give them is the mash. The starter comes later on when the fish is already big. But for chickens, you give them when they are, that's the first thing you give them. So there's a difference that we need to understand as fish farmers and not poultry farmers. For the fish grower, you give your fish from where you end with the starter, which is around 250 grams and 450 grams. So this is the period in which you're going to give your fish. Within this period, as I said, the difference in target weights or your market research will determine how we will play around with the starter and the finisher. That I'll ask you when I say, what is your target weight? Then you tell me. Then I can work around on how to balance the starter and the grower. Maybe you are going to end at 250 grams. Okay. The last feed, of course, not the last, but the finishers. So for finishers, we've got two at Novatek. There's the fish finisher, which you give your fish if you are dealing in cages. But for those who are doing ponds, there's actually pond 18 and fish green pond. Those are finishers, but they are specific to ponds. This finisher is only specific to cages. This is why you see here it's 24%, but for the pond it's 18%, and the other one is fish green pond, which is 15%. The difference is that the other one you manure, the other one you not. So here my time is telling me I've got less than 1 minute. It's going to disconnect, so that when I come back, I'll start from here and explain the pre-starter issue here and also the finisher aspect. Then we'll continue, because it's going to disconnect just now, so that we connect and disconnect and we resume our session.
We need to rejoin first when it disconnects.